Listen closely. You carry a power that others never saw coming, a force that's been shielded by something far beyond their comprehension. Those who dared to underestimate you, those who thought they could toy with your spirit, push you aside, or make you question your worth, are now paying the price for their arrogance. They never understood who they were dealing with, but they're learning that hard lesson now. You've always been able to see beyond the masks people wear, sensing their intentions long before they make a move. They were used to pulling the strings, leading others into a carefully crafted dance of deceit and half-truths, convinced that their charm would be enough to keep you tangled in their web. But they underestimated you. They thought they could control the situation, control you. What they didn't anticipate was the sharp clarity of your vision, your ability to see through the illusions they spun so effortlessly for others. You are not like the people they fooled before. You aren't easily swayed by empty promises or pretty words designed to cloud your judgment. You watched them closely, every word and action revealing more than they intended. You saw their pattern, how they thrived on attention, how they collected people like trophies, using them to inflate their fragile ego. But when they tried to use the same tactics on you, they were met with a wall of indifference. Your intuition was razor-sharp, cutting through their manipulation before it could take hold. What they didn't realize was that you don't play games, you don't dance to someone else's tune. While they were used to toying with others' emotions, they found you unmoved, a force beyond their understanding. It unsettled them. Your refusal to be pulled into their vortex of confusion left them spinning, unable to grasp why their usual tricks had failed. They tried harder, of course, thinking they could outwit you, thinking you were just another piece in their game. But each move they made only highlighted their own insecurities, their own desperate need for control. Now that person is haunted by the consequences of underestimating you. Where others fell for their lies, you stood firm, and that rattled them more than they'll ever admit. They never expected someone to expose their true nature so effortlessly. It's not just that you saw through them, it's that you showed them a reflection of themselves that they couldn't handle. They are still grappling with that realization, long after you've moved on. Their attempts to deceive, to play you, have left them trapped in their own web of lies, a web they crafted with such confidence, only to find themselves caught in it. You are not just another soul wandering through life. As a chosen one, your essence is otherworldly, your energy vast and immeasurable. You are an earth angel, a living, breathing embodiment of cosmic justice. The light you carry isn't just metaphorical, it's a force that pushes back against the shadows of deceit and harm. Everywhere you go, you shift the energy, recalibrating the space around you, even when others are too blind to see it. They may not have known who they were dealing with, but the universe knew. It placed you exactly where you needed to be, not just to survive, but to thrive, and in doing so to restore balance wherever you set foot. Their attempts to harm or manipulate you didn't just fail, they set in motion consequences that they never anticipated. When you, as an earth angel, are wronged, the universe responds with unrelenting force. You were sent to their lives as a blessing, a chance for them to elevate, to learn, to grow in your presence. Instead, they chose to play their petty games. What they didn't realize was that by crossing you, they invited the full weight of karma into their lives. The energy they sent toward you, filled with manipulation and deceit, didn't just dissipate, it circled back to them, amplified by the very forces they tried to challenge. Your strength is not just in your spiritual awareness or your intelligence, but in your role as a conduit for divine justice. Every wrong done to you is righted, not through revenge, but through the cosmic order that governs your existence. You don't need to seek retribution. The scales always balance in your favor, because that is your purpose: to protect, to restore, and to bring equilibrium to a world constantly tipping toward chaos. Since the moment they dared to deceive you, the universe began its relentless course correction. They thought they could manipulate, harm, or diminish your spirit, but they miscalculated. They didn't realize that to touch you with ill intent is to sign their own sentence. Your protection is not something that can be tampered with. It's woven into the very fabric of existence. Every act of deception or harm aimed at you rebounds, amplified by the forces of the universe, crashing down on those who dared to strike. Now their lives unravel, every step dogged by misfortune, every choice turning into calamity. It's not coincidence, it's consequence. Their attempts to twist your reality, to play games with your destiny, have backfired spectacularly. The web of lies they spun has ensnared them, tightening with every passing day, leaving them struggling to find a way out. They wanted control, but all they found is chaos. Every plan they make collapses, every door they open leads to more darkness, and deep down they know why. They felt it, the unmistakable weight of karma bearing down on them, a relentless force that won't let up. What they fail to understand is that your spiritual protection is a shield that not only blocks harm but reflects it, magnified. They didn't just send negativity your way, they unleashed a storm upon themselves. The energy they tried to harness against you has returned with tenfold fury, tearing through their lives, leaving destruction in its wake. Their bad luck isn't just a series of unfortunate events, it's the direct result of their attempt to cross someone who stands under divine protection. Your existence isn't just touched by fate, it's guarded by it. You walk with forces at your back that see all, know all, and correct all. This is why any harm directed toward you never sticks. The universe takes it, multiplies it, and sends it back to its source. Now their world crumbles under the weight of what they set in motion. Their bad luck isn't just luck, it's the unbreakable law of cause and effect, playing out in full force. They played with fire, and now they're engulfed in flames they can't extinguish. While you remain untouched, standing in your power, they are left to deal with the aftermath of their own actions, and the universe, ever just, ensures that they never forget who they tried to deceive. When you rejected them, it wasn't just a dismissal. They felt the ground beneath them shatter. Their ego, which had fed off the manipulation and deceit they inflicted on others, was exposed in the rawest way possible. What they had mistaken for power was nothing but fragility, and your refusal to be played sent their carefully constructed identity crumbling to dust. They expected you to chase, to bend, to fall under their influence, but instead you became the mirror they couldn't escape. In that reflection, they saw the hollowness of their intentions, the emptiness of their games. Your strength is what they misjudged most. In trying to outsmart you, they fell into their own trap. They thought they could use you like they had others, that you would be just another conquest, another notch in their belt of superiority. But your resilience was a force they weren't ready for, a fire that burned through every lie they told themselves. Their attempts to control and deceive you only illuminated your power, an unbreakable force, untouchable and steadfast. And as they watched their plans disintegrate, something inside them shifted. What they felt, though they might not admit it, was a kind of ego death, a spiritual awakening that stripped them bare, forcing them to confront the wreckage they had made of their lives. You didn't just reject them, you rejected the illusion they had wrapped themselves in for so long. In doing so, you opened the door for them to see the truth they had been avoiding, that their games, their manipulations, their arrogance had been a mask for insecurity all along. It wasn't just your rejection that caused this. It was the undeniable force of your integrity and strength. They couldn't control you, and that realization sent them spiraling. Now, they are left grappling with feelings they didn't expect. The very person they sought to deceive is the one they now admire, perhaps even love. But that admiration comes with the bitter taste of regret because they've already ruined any chance of being in your presence. They've seen your strength too late, falling in love with the power they tried to destroy. But it doesn't matter anymore. The damage is done. Their ego has been dismantled, and what remains is a hollow space where their false self once stood, a space they must now learn to fill without you. Your presence is not just felt, it is absorbed by those around you. The energy you carry is potent, a force so pure and radiant that it shifts the atmosphere itself. People are drawn to you. though most cannot fully articulate why. They sense the weight of something extraordinary, something far beyond the surface-level interactions they are used to. Your energy is healing, not because it tries to be, but because it simply is. You don't need to speak, you don't need to act. The vibration you emit is enough to awaken the dormant parts of those around you. Those who come into your orbit feel a stirring in their soul, a deep tug at the core of their being, though they may not understand it at first. You are a catalyst for spiritual awakening, triggering emotional responses in others that they might have buried or never even known existed. Your energy acts like a mirror, reflecting back the parts of themselves they've tried to hide, and while some are elevated by your presence, uplifted by the purity of your spirit, others are unsettled. They feel exposed, stripped of their pretenses, forced to confront the depths they've avoided for so long. But not everyone is ready for the light you bring. Most people are drawn to you for reasons they can't fully comprehend. They mistake their attraction to your energy as something simple, something they can understand within the confines of their limited perspectives. They sense the healing power radiating from you, but they confuse it for something they can take advantage of. They try to possess your light without realizing the depth of your spirit, the immensity of your purpose, and when they can't control or fully grasp your essence, they either retreat or lash out, overwhelmed by the power they don't understand. Your energy doesn't just uplift, it transforms. It cracks open the emotional shields people have spent lifetimes building. Some will be grateful for this, recognizing the gift you offer. Others will be terrified, fearing the vulnerability that comes with being truly seen, truly known. You awaken their hearts, their deepest truths, and not everyone is ready to face that. And yet, whether they are prepared or not, your presence leaves an indelible mark. You are not just passing through their lives, you are a force that shifts them in ways they may not fully comprehend until much later. Your spiritual power is undeniable, and it comes with responsibility. Few people can truly meet you on your level, not because you are inaccessible, but because most are not prepared to handle the truth you represent. They come to you seeking healing, seeking answers, but they often find more than they bargained for. They realize, perhaps too late, that your power is not something they can contain or control. It is not a comforting balm. It is a force that shatters illusions and demands authenticity. And still they are drawn to you. Even those who don't understand your depth cannot help but gravitate toward your energy. You are a beacon in the storm, a light that calls out to the lost and the wandering, even if they don't realize they're lost. But you know that few will be able to walk with you in the fullness of your power. They will admire you from afar, try to grasp a piece of your light, but the depth of your spirit remains beyond their reach. You are a chosen one, and your energy, while healing, is also transformative, awakening those who cross your path to the truth of their own souls. They are preparing to return, driven by a force they can't fully understand but can no longer resist. Your rejection has haunted them in ways they never expected, piercing through the walls they built around their ego. What once was a simple game for them has become something far more profound. They now recognize the gravity of their loss, feeling a deep soul connection to you that gnaws at their consciousness, pushing them to seek redemption. They've convinced themselves that this connection must mean something greater, perhaps even a belief that you are their soulmate. But what they fail to grasp is that they are chasing a ghost, an echo of a moment that has already slipped from their grasp. You are no longer tethered to the past they still cling to. They've built this apology in their mind, thinking it will be the key to unlock your heart, to return to the place they once took for granted. But the truth is, you've outgrown them. While they have been drowning in regret, replaying their mistakes in an endless loop, you've been ascending. You are no longer the same person they knew, the one they thought they could manipulate, the one they underestimated. Your energy has expanded, evolved beyond the space they once occupied. You've moved into a realm they cannot reach, a future where they no longer exist. They don't understand that their apology, however heartfelt, carries no weight in your present reality. They are still bound by the illusions they created, believing that with the right words they can undo the damage they've caused. But you are not waiting for their remorse. You have already healed, already transcended the connection that they now hold so tightly to. The universe has carried you forward, and in that forward motion, they have become irrelevant. Their role in your life was a lesson, and nothing more. You've learned it, you've grown from it. And now it's they who must reckon with the consequences of being left behind. Their belief that you are still accessible, that somehow they can re-enter your life and make things right, is a delusion they've nurtured in their desperation. They don't realize that the soul connection they feel is not a bond, but a wound they inflicted upon themselves. You have no place for them in your future, because your future is carved out in light, and their presence is a shadow that has long since dissipated. They are preparing to return, but the door they once walked through is now closed. The universe has moved you forward, and they are left only with the painful understanding that what was lost cannot be reclaimed. They will return to you certain that you've been frozen in time, waiting for them to realize what you've always known. They will carry the belief that their absence somehow gave you space to reflect on their worth, and that their return will rekindle something lost. But they will be met with a truth they cannot bear. You've evolved beyond anything they can now comprehend. While they spent their time lost in confusion, trying to piece together their fragmented ego, you ascended. The path you walk is one they can no longer follow. Their return will be laced with assumptions. They'll approach you with a mind full of their own revelations, thinking their newfound affection is all it takes to bridge the gap they created. But they don't understand that while they were wrestling with their feelings, you were outgrowing the very connection they are so desperate to reclaim. You don't stand where they left you. You've stepped into a higher realm, a place where their energy no longer resonates. The love they think they've discovered is only a reflection of their regret, not a bond with your spirit. When they finally reach you, they will be stunned by your indifference. They'll search your eyes for a flicker of the longing they believe you harbored, but instead, they'll be confronted by a wall of calm detachment. This is not the outcome they envisioned. They believed their awakening would be met with your open arms, with the warmth of reconciliation. But you've transcended those earthly expectations. Your heart no longer carries the weight of their absence because your spirit has been set free from it. They'll speak of love, of missed chances, of destiny, but their words will fall like dust around you. You've learned that not all connections are meant to last. What they felt as destiny was merely a moment in your story, not the defining chapter. And while they've fallen in love with the version of you they think they left behind, they're blind to the fact that person no longer exists. You are now something far greater, guided by forces they cannot grasp. Their shock will turn to disbelief, and finally to an uncomfortable acceptance. They'll realize that they're too late. You are not theirs to claim, not anymore. Your soul has found peace on a higher path, a path they can neither follow nor understand. They've fallen in love with a ghost, a memory of you that no longer has any place in your life. And though they may search for a way back into your heart, they'll come to realize that you've long since moved forward, far beyond their reach. The power rests entirely in your hands. When they reappear, seeking forgiveness or a way back into your life, it is up to you to decide how to respond. But let there be no doubt, their karma is still unfolding, and no matter how much they try to rectify the past, the energy they sent toward you is still working its way back to them. They are trapped in a cycle of their own making, and while they may seek your absolution, you owe them nothing. You've already outgrown the place they once held, and your spiritual power remains untouchable. This moment, this awareness, is yet another affirmation of the path you are destined to walk. You were never meant to wait for their understanding, never meant to settle for anything less than your highest calling. Their return is not a testament to your worth. It's a reminder of their failure to see it when it mattered. Now you stand elevated, untethered to their chaos, empowered by the clarity of your purpose. If this resonates with you, it's time to embrace that truth fully. Share your story, because others need to hear the strength of your voice and the wisdom of your experience. Let your words be a beacon to those who are still discovering their own power, and remind them of the unstoppable force that comes with knowing your worth.